Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
Hello.
And we're here giving you the gaming news, talking about video games, gaming, all that really cool stuff. And if you love gaming as much as we love gaming, then welcome, and I hope you enjoy today's episode, where we
Looks
talk
fun.
about gaming. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
wait.
good.
I don't know
Huh?
what. No, I don't know. There's something going on with the transitions. It's like
Oh,
zoom. Like right now, you're zoomed in, but
yeah,
it zoomed out. Like switch back.
that's weird. Let's switch to you. Here you are. We're
Sorry, folks.
seeing some technical
This won't be on
difficulties.
the recorded podcast.
Clap. There, it'll be cut
Yeah.
out now. Yeah. Okay. So now, yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it as well. It's kind of weird. Facebook's having some weird stuff because Zen. So
Yeah.
between all the systems that we're using, everything looks good, and every now and then it zooms in, and it makes it's
When you transition, it's fine. When
yeah.
it's like after it's been sitting there for like 2 seconds, it zooms in. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna blame Facebook. So
Cool.
yeah. So
We're using a new video program, by the way. Sorry.
we're using the new video program, but that's only to talk between us. But the way we stream is the same. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we're good. But welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, and we're talking gaming news. I already introduced Owen, but there he is.
Hello.
That's a half take two. That's a take one and three quarters, if you will. We're talking gaming news. Today's Cyberpunk Eve.
Yeah, you got it preloaded?
I don't.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, so I'm.
I want next gen, man. Like,
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's what we know.
Mhm.
Here's what we know. There's Cyberpunk reviews out right now. From what I understand, all of the Cyberpunk reviews that you are currently seeing on your Metacritics, your open critics, they're very favorable. That's number one. 90 is what I think I saw this morning. Who knows? That's going to change over the next couple of weeks. The reason it's going to change, all the reviews that you're seeing currently, I believe, were done on PC versions of the game. As I understand it, as I heard, I have a couple of friends. They work in the industry. They don't work at your IGNs or anything. They work at some smaller sites, but they got their review codes like yesterday, and so the reviews that you're seeing are not on console.
Exactly.
And what I understand from there is that I don't expect, even on your PS5 and Series X, I don't expect the game to run that great. I expect it to be pretty I hope to be proven wrong, but I've already heard about some glitching, some weird whatever, and that doesn't mean the game's crashing or anything. From what I understand, it's pretty playable.
Mhm.
But I was already kind of lukewarm on this game, and if I'm going to play this game, I want to play the best version of the game that I can play. I could probably play it on an okay level on my PC. I have an okay PC. It's got a pretty capable graphics card and processor and everything, but I have a PS5. I have a Series X. I want to play the best console version of the game possible, and we have already been told by CD Projekt that's not coming until next year. As soon as I see the optimized stamp, like the optimized for Series X, the whatever the hell we're calling it for PS5, do they even have a name?
They don't. They need marketing.
Need a name.
Come on. They need marketing.
Let's think of the name right now. So we have optimized for Series X. What do we call plays best on PlayStation 5?
PS Wow.
Yeah.
There
we go. Call us up, Sony. You can't have it for free though.
No. But so Xbox, they did test this, by the way. And this like I know we kind of jumped into the news. Usually we kind of warm up a little bit, but I'm just excited about this. And we'll warm up a little bit. We're gonna like hit it hard, and then we're gonna cool down, and then we're gonna hit it again. So testing,
just like you did in college.
You got to have that rest period. Anyways,
Sorry, just
So
you just teed it up. And
I know, I know, I know. So, so in the tests on it right now, Xbox Series X, if you're playing on a console, Xbox Series X is playing it better. No shock there. PS5 still looks good, but there are some resolution adjustments. It's not true 4K. It's not actual 60. If But I would say, as I can kind of run through this real quick, but essentially, honestly, our eyes. I mean, I'm not saying I have terrible eyes, but I'm probably not gonna look at it and go, "It looks like crap" on the PS5 or Xbox Series S. Maybe so.
Sure.
There is a big difference in regards to this, and if you're wanting to play this at 4K 60, we've had a couple articles that I've read now saying basically if you really wanting to hit 4K 60 of this game, you need a RTX 3080.
It's not gonna happen.
But no, that's a $700 card. That's the base point of the card. Some of those are $800-900. So people talking about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X being expensive. This is why PC reigns supreme, because you can have an insane piece of hardware like that.
I did see somebody reviewing it where they got it to run pretty flawlessly.
Mhm.
I forget what graphics card they had. They didn't have a 3090. I think they had like a 2080 Ti maybe or something,
Okay.
but
Those are pretty
they
good.
ran it at 1440 with
Yeah.
ray tracing, and it ran pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, 2080 Ti, those are, I mean, there's still some good cards. We're not obviously PC gamers by trade, but this is why PC can just crush consoles. Consoles are convenient. Things get optimized for them, and it's great and all, but this is why PC gamers will talk about the games looking better, because they're going to look better on these PCs. I had it pre-ordered, and I actually canceled my pre-order on Monday. I had it pre-ordered and ready, but I thought I don't know if I'm going to have time to play it for at least 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe. I'm enjoying what I'm playing, and every review that I read said it's great. There were a lot of bugs, and then some of those reviewers were like, we can't show you the bugs because they won't let us show you the
Not
bugs.
yet, yeah.
Not yet. So those reviews will come Friday or so. I think
I would
embargo's
say
out
if
then.
I would like, here's the thing. There's a lot of you out there that don't have the PS5, that don't have the Series X. You're going to be playing the PS4 and the Xbox One versions on that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, though, I would wait, unless you just absolutely like, you're like if you're in that category that's like, I have to have this game no matter what console I have. Okay, I get it. I'm
Sure.
among those for different types of games. I'm sure there's plenty of Witcher 3 fans and CD Projekt fans that are like, no matter what console I have, I got to play it day one.
Yeah.
But if you're playing this on a PS4, if you're playing this on an Xbox One, like, I'd maybe wait for some Digital Foundry videos or something, like, unless you got that Xbox One X. But if you're just playing on like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One S, I don't know. I would wait. I would. You can get it for $49.95 right now on Amazon, so you can already get it $10 off
Yep.
right now if you're looking for it. It's not going to
That's what I
ship
was
to you
going to
day
do.
one. It's
Yeah.
available right now.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know.
That's what I was going
I
to
don't
do.
know.
Yeah.
I want patches. Like, there's nothing about this game that's said that like I need to play this game in spite of the bugs. Everybody that I've said that's like everybody that I've read is like, yeah, this game's great. It's a great game. There's nothing new. It's a great game. There's stuff going on. Like, it's definitely got a world. There's lots of content. There's stuff in there that like makes me want to try it, but nothing that makes me want to try it tomorrow.
Yeah. And which at the same time, and we're not going to rain on Cyberpunk Parade because
No.
it's good, but yeah, I feel like that is a little disappointing to people who've been waiting so long for this game, because it was announced during PlayStation 3. It was announced that long ago. And that being said, like I said, I've heard good things. I'm going to play it. I just couldn't justify it. We've spent so much money. I was about to say and then I'm like, what? We basically collectively spent so much money on new games and new consoles that I'm like, I can hold off for a bit, enjoy what I'm playing. I've platinumed Miles. I'm playing Demon Souls. I've got Miles Morales, and I'm playing Sackboy right now, which is fun. Great couch co-op, as I thought it was going to be.
Good.
Very
How's the two
Lego.
player?
It's good. It's good. Very very Lego in regards to. I would say Lego, but this is
When you
actually
say
more
Lego, do you mean like
challenge.
forgiving?
I was gonna say it's forgiving in regards to like combat,
Okay.
but if you were trying to collect everything, um, it's a little challenging.
Okay.
It's a little challenging, to the point where, like, Whitney and I play Lego games. She'll play games like Lego games on her own, and she like goes around every nook and cranny. We had some trouble trying to find specific things. We would like see like, oh, there's an area up here. I don't know quite how to get there, and it would take us a bit to figure that out. Where Lego's usually relatively straightforward. Break a bunch of stuff, build a bunch of stuff, go. That and combat. This was a little bit more challenging in regards to puzzly, but I liked that. I was happy about that. Where I'm just saying, like, so if just kids were playing, it may be a problem. But if you're playing this with your kids, then I think this would be great because it's forgiving enough. Um, you don't get like unlimited lives, but it's forgiving enough.
That's weird.
And yeah, I know that's the only thing. Like, well, I mean, unlimited lives as in like how many times if you're playing two player or what have you, like you can't you can't die repeatedly. You'll die X amount of
There's
times.
not even an easy mode for that.
Maybe there is. I didn't see it.
Okay.
I'll have to check.
You would think
but
that's what I'm talking about. Like that's surprising.
yeah.
You would think
So
that you could just come back as many times as you want.
tip for that though, the tip for that is if you're in whatever area and someone dies and you're not respawning, go back to like one of the little checkpoint things and it will spawn. That's so like basically you have to kind of pace yourself and make sure you don't bite off more than you can chew and be strategic enough to say, okay, let me backtrack just a minute. Okay, we're good. As opposed to just immediate respawn, because Lego just like puts you right back in immediately. That's the only difference, but I love it. As long as you keep that in mind, it's not it's not too bad in regards to like wanting to rage quit. It's fun. It's fun, challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about like having games to like play and how we're running out of, or not run. We're not hurting for content at all. And I have people convincing me slowly that I need to buy Immortals Phoenix Rising. They're like, it's just Breath of the Wild enough to where you should play it, because everybody knows how big of a fan I am. That's my favorite game of all time at this point. It's
I've heard that too.
They're like, it has that aspect, and then there's some comedy in the story writing. There's things where they like one person, again, knowing some people in the industry, they're reviewing the game and they're like, I wouldn't have played this game if I wasn't reviewing it, but I'm glad that I did, because I would have totally missed it. And that's the kind of thing that I see. Like, everything that I've seen is like 7s and 8s, but I bought Yakuza last week, played a little bit of that. I've been playing some Final Fantasy 13, but then literally, man, I'm in a COD thing.
It's a
right now. I'm playing some Cold War, dude. I'm level 51 out of 100, I think, and that's when I think 100 is when you prestige. I could be wrong about that. I know nothing about the leveling system in COD. I have a positive kill death ratio.
That's cool. I'm never that guy. I am never that guy.
I'm
the guy who I'm like,
it's like 1.03, but that's positive, dude. That I'm not a detriment to my team whenever I'm in a game. There are rounds where I'm not good, but I was telling Patrick offline, I was playing with a buddy from work, and I haven't played with anybody in years that I haven't played a multiplayer game. I'm saying 2 or 3. I think the last one I played was Sea of Thieves. I haven't played it with anybody in a while. I went off. I got 40 kills, 20 deaths. Like, it was just a thing. There's a mood that I'm in right now where I don't want to think about stuff. And I'm a big RPG game player, and that, I'm not saying that involves a ton of thinking. Sure. There's sometimes where you're building your party and it does, but like, this is literally, you drop in to a round and it's team deathmatch or
Yeah.
domination or hard point. You play that round's over, and like you're thinking while you're playing, but like you're not. There's no
Yeah.
strategy. Like I'm with a brand new party every single round. I play with nobody. I don't talk to anybody. You're just
You're in the
in.
now. You're
Yeah.
in the now. You live in the moment. And
The
that's, yeah.
that gameplay loop just got me. It was a
Mhm.
completely unexpected thing. Like originally I was buying this game on Xbox because I wanted a next gen game on Xbox because I just wanted to see how it ran, and then here I am. I literally have only turned my PlayStation on this week to update my controller because for those of you who don't know, there's a firmware update out. Just came out today. Comes with a update for your DualSense, so bust out your USB-C
Mhm.
to USB thing and plug it in real quick. I'm surprised at
Yeah.
myself for what this game's doing, but I'm having a ton of fun right now.
Yeah, I'm too, and like I'm at the point where like actually yeah, a friend of the show Robert was talking about like the Best Buy to buy two get one sale, which I was
I think
like,
Target might have one too.
he might. So I'm like, are there three games
That's
that
the
I could?
problem.
That's where I'm
I
like,
keep
I
finding
don't.
two games.
Same. So and Immortals Phoenix Rising's already on sale for 40.
Not anymore. It's
So
50 now. That
ah,
coupon went away today. I was about to, like, the guy told me
yeah.
today, I was about to pull the trigger right before the show. Went to Amazon. Amazon has a very lame buy two get one going right now. So
Mm,
they took away the coupon for 20 off. It's still $49.95 though. And I was
yeah.
like, I want it for 40.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
I've it may be worth it, but I don't know. If it was Zelda, I would immediately have
Yeah.
bought this. Um,
I still haven't bought
yeah,
Age of Calamity, by the way, have you?
I have not. I have not. But I've just been busy playing so many other things,
Yeah.
and I know. I mean, it's not like it's going to go on
It's not
sale.
going, and it's not going anywhere. Like what right now, what I'm thinking of is Age of Calamity when I know a Breath of the Wild 2 release
Good
date,
call.
which tomorrow, baby. We haven't got to the predictions yet, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you want to just go ahead and jump into the Game Awards stuff right now. But we are getting, calling it, we're getting a Breath of the Wild
Mm,
2 release date tomorrow.
that would be amazing.
That's my big bet. That's my big
That's your big one. Okay.
thing. That's the thing that we are definitely getting. Nintendo is radio silent. They haven't done anything involving the Game Awards on Twitter. And, there's nothing going on. They're being completely whatever. I don't think Nintendo has a whole bunch to show, but
Mhm.
you're going to find out that Breath of the Wild 2 comes out in March of 2021.
So you're thinking like additional, we're trying like an additional trailer, something that additional trailer release date, that kind of thing coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
March 2021.
Oh, you think March? Okay, March is a.
It's coming out exactly when Breath of the Wild came out. 4 years later.
I would lose. I'd be so happy. Nintendo, you do that, I'll buy Age of Calamity tomorrow.
All right.
If that happens, I'll buy an Age of Calamity tomorrow.
That's a good bet. That's a good
Um,
bet. If I'm right, I'll buy Age of Calamity too.
there you go. We all win. I was
Really, Nintendo wins.
Nintendo wins. I think we're going to see some Starfield.
Okay.
I think we're going to see Starfield.
Not
So we
Elden
didn't.
Ring? I mean, that's two
Oh,
different
that's
companies?
the other
Two
thing.
different companies.
Two different companies. I also think Elden
Elder
Ring,
Scrolls. That's
Elder
okay.
Scrolls,
There
what
we
you're
go.
thinking of.
Yeah.
I would love to see Elder Scrolls,
We're gonna see
but they've
Elden Ring.
said, we're going to see Elden Ring, but uh, Todd Howard and everyone at said Starfield's first before Elder Scrolls. So unless there's a shakeup that we don't know about in the not necessarily in the Microsoft aspect of this, and maybe in the development of Starfield, maybe they were like, we're not quite feeling it. Maybe we'll shift these, and they haven't said anything that indicates that. But there could be a chance of that. If you see Elder Scrolls and you don't see Starfield, something's wrong with Starfield. That's what I'm going to tell you. But
Just to roll it back for just a second. So what we are talking about is the Game Awards. Whenever we say that, obviously a bunch of companies have their own Game Awards, but we're talking about Jeff Keighley's Game Awards
Mhm.
is live tomorrow night. I want to get the exact time for you if I can.
And I tried to get some trailers here, and I didn't think about us doing predictions, so I don't have a lot of those. But here's some trailers of things or some stuff that we're gonna be that they're going to talk about tomorrow, or the games that are being nominated while we're doing that.
Yeah.
While you're looking that up,
Dude,
I
what is
would
the
say
time?
there's great games that came out this year, but you'll see a lot of repeats. I don't think we have to necessarily list through everything, but
7 p.m. Eastern. It's early.
there you go. So good. That's 4 p.m.
That's 6 p.m.
Pacific.
for me. That's
Yeah.
right during bath time. That's trouble. All right.
Oh man.
Anyways,
He's not
by
talking about
bath
his
time, I mean
bath.
my child.
That's what I was going to say. Let me correct that for a second. I would say that looking at the list of what I would say the heavy hitters for the Game Awards, a lot of repeats. And it's not to say there weren't good games, but there were a lot of good games that were so good that they're on here repeatedly. I'm talking about, I've got Doom Eternal on here, which isn't listed that much. This is Doom Eternal's, technically the DLC, if I'm not mistaken, because Doom Eternal, I want to say, came out last year. Ancient Gods.
Dude, that's what 2020 is a weird year, man. Remember Doom Eternal? It was Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing in the same window.
That's right. I forgot about that.
The complete polar opposites of game. Both nominated for Game of the Year.
Forgot about that. Both nominated for Game of the Year. Both great in their own right. Animal Crossing got a lot of people through the beginning of COVID, the beginning of the quarantine,
Me included.
So yeah, same. Wife and I both play the heck out of it.
And then I dropped that game like a bad habit.
I think a lot of people did. I feel bad because I have some friends of mine who have been playing, and every now and then they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to see my island?" And I'm like, I went over there and I hadn't played in months, but their island looked really cool. They did a lot of work, and but I got onto other things. Animal Crossing is amazing. I just got kind of sidetracked with other games, but the repetition, the saccharine nature, and the repetition of it was really great. Also, playing the Stalk Market was really fun too.
Stonks. So here's what I say we do, because I know that you're just kind of going through some of the hits.
And we can go down wherever you want to.
I was gonna say go bottom up and kind of I don't know if you saw, I wrote some predictions in there of what I think is going to win. So me and Patrick, I want to take a few more weeks, and then I want to be very clear that me and Patrick have not played everything in the world that's come out this year. But I want one of our first shows in January. I want us to talk about 2020 and our favorite games, whether they were made or whatever. We're going to do our Game of the Year stuff. So this isn't stuff that I want to win. These are literally what I think is going to win. And then in a few weeks, I want to still play some more stuff. I have a couple of games that I know were great that came out this year that I would like to buy and at least touch. That way I can kind of speak to them. Hades is one of them. I still don't own that. I don't know if you do. On Switch, and I've heard literally nothing but amazing things about it. It's one of the highest rated games on OpenCritic this year. But where are we at? Let's see. Best role-playing game.
Okay, so having not played these, so
you played one of them.
Oh yeah, I played one of them. Sorry,
okay.
Played one of them. Nominees: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Off the bat, I hate the fact that Persona 5's on here. I hate it. I understand it's a slightly different game, but Persona 5 came out 4 years ago. This is an add-on that did improve. It's like a Game of the Year edition of the game that added a DLC thing that you can't add. You actually can't add this extra part to the Persona 5 game that you have, but I kind of hate that it's on there. That said, it is one of the highest rated games of the year, but I'm still going to give my pick to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think it wins.
Same. I think that it the way that it took the source material and did it justice, but also gave us some very new aspects and a new ending, or what would have been the end of Disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII. changed it, but in a good way. Like it did it in a way that allowed us, no spoilers, but allowed you to still enjoy the original, and you enjoy this separately. I had an absolute blast. The combat was great too. And I didn't play the tactical, whatever it's called, the classic mode.
Don't.
Yeah,
Don't.
yeah. I really enjoyed it though, and my prediction, Jesse's going to be in the next one. So
I say play the game as it's intended.
mhm.
I can speak to, because I actually have played a couple of these other ones. I did play Genshin. It's a great game. It's a great free game. Even that game, dude. I don't know if you've been following that. They made something like $500 million already, dude.
It's amazing.
Persona 5, I played Persona 5 non-Royal Edition. I played that this year, or not this year, last year when my son was born, as I famously talked about. Put 90 hours into it. It's a great game. Did not play Wasteland. And then I started Yakuza, also solid. Final Fantasy VII Remake is just, like Patrick already said, they paid such respect to the source material, and then they just made it bomb. I don't know how. Like, I get Persona 5 Royal is a great game. It's a great game that I've already seen. Whereas Final Fantasy VII Remake, even though it has source material, it's not a game that I've seen. Like, the combat was so good. What they did to the story is so good.
Yeah.
Everything about it. So that's who I think is going to be the pick. And I'll spoil it now. That would also be my pick if I was picking best RPG of the year. But I think I think it's going to take it.
Sure. We're in agreement on that one. Next up, best action adventure, and this one I think has
this is going to be controversial.
This is controversial. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, or Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I think you left a couple off too.
Did I? Star Wars. Hold up. Sorry, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and The Last of Us Part 2.
This is one where I can say, this is another one. I've played I've played 4 of these. You've played, I think, almost all of them, right? Except for maybe Ori?
I haven't played Ori.
Yeah.
I've played every other one, and I realized that I've got some trailers missing.
Ori's on Game Pass, baby. Go for it.
It's on Game Pass. I need to play it. My pick, and there's a lot. I've played all of them.
Who we think is going to win?
Ghost of Tsushima.
All right.
Ghost of Tsushima is such a solid game. It looks good. It plays so good. It's satisfying. It's not too hard. I can't remember if there's even a difficulty slider. I can't remember offhand. It's so pretty though, and it plays so. When you get a game, and that's the one that I was like, maybe Last of Us Part 2, but I feel like that's going to get it for best of or a direction or something like that. Yeah. But this game, action wise, is so much better than every other game. I'm floored by it. What do you think?
So I'm going with recency bias on this to take it. So I almost picked Ghosts because of how highly it's regarded this year. There's a lot of people that I know personally. They said it's their game of the year. They liked it more than The Last of Us. They liked it more than Spider-Man. But I'm going with recency bias in the fact that Miles Morales is such a great game, and it literally came out a month ago, that I can see it pulling those votes. And so if it's not Spider-Man, I think you're right in that it's Ghosts. I think that we all know how good Last of Us Part 2 is, and then I can't believe that Jedi Fallen Order fit in that. It came out in December last year, didn't it? That's why it's fitting into the 2020 window. Yes. Okay, so it missed the 2019 window, and that's where it is. I was gonna say that was a great game last year, right? Okay, that makes more sense. Ori, I feel like while it was great, I feel like it was really quickly forgotten. And then I've heard good things about Valhalla. It's just not the same level of things that you're hearing about Ghost of Tsushima, not the same level of things that you're hearing about Spider-Man, not the same level of things that you hear about even The Last of Us action. I don't think this is the category for Last of Us.
Yeah. I would agree. Valhalla is good. I think that I feel like the gameplay loop is a little repetitive on Valhalla. It's good, but Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm semi stealing this a reviewer, but um, what's his name? I'm missing it now, but basically, killing bandit camps in video games is like one of the most cliche things to do.
Yeah.
And this Ghost of Tsushima made killing bandit camps interesting and fun and exciting every single time. And usually that's just a cliche, like, oh, there's another bandit camp, oh, there's another bandit camp, and it's not that big of a deal.
It's like that in Horizon.
Yeah, right. That's true. Horizon
you just kind of go and do them. There's really no point to doing them.
Yeah. Well, and the other end of that, like, I play Souls games. That's a little different, where it's like every time there's a collection of enemies, that's a huge deal. But usually in RPGs, it's like, oh, it's just another group. I'll go take them out. Or like what is it? Far Cry. Far Cry does that all the time, where it's like, go take out that camp, go take out this one, get these territories, and after about halfway through it, it becomes repetitive. This one did not. So that's my pick. Miles is great.
By the way, we're gonna go over our scores at the beginning of the next show.
Okay. Miles is great though. So we'll move on to best action.
Tell me the difference between best action adventure and best action. Are they just saying speaking about the combat to the game?
I don't know, because I would say Neo
Streets of Rage 4 is on here. Not to diss Streets of Rage 4. I've heard it's great. Yeah. It's a great beat 'em up from what I've heard. It's a great homage to like the Streets of Rage of old. What are we talking about when we're saying best action game?
I don't know, like action adventure, and then you have action. Like, to me, I mean, I guess is Shooter not on here?
I don't think so.
I didn't grab. There's a bunch of ones that I didn't grab, by the way, on that were listed.
I don't think there's like a best first person shooter category or anything. So maybe that's included in there. I don't know.
Maybe it's more action-y, because like Doom is on here. So, anyways, action games are Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4.
Poor Streets of Rage. And again, I'm not hating on it off. Heard it's great. I just like it's competing against 4 vastly superior games.
Extremely, yeah. Neo 2, I have not played. I've not played Half-Life Alyx. Having seen a lot of this, I'm giving this to Doom.
Okay.
Doom Eternal is exactly what you want in a Doom game. It is. If you played, it's unapologetically straight up action. This is best action. Doom is all action. It is adrenaline, and I love it. And I think that's why.
Did you play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. It's on Game Pass now, ladies and gentlemen.
It's on Game Pass now, yeah. So on Game Pass, you got to pay for the DLC for the which is what we're actually showing here. I'm actually showing the old gods, ancient gods. Sorry, but yeah, I played it on Game Pass. I think I'm going to get the DLC. It's good. It's, like I said, it's just crazy, filled with action, and that's what Doom should be. Doom should be like pedal to the metal, literally like metal music playing in the background while you're killing all these demons. I think that, to me, that's why it's an easy pick. Where Neo has action, Hades has action, Half-Life Alyx, I don't feel like it's more. It's almost a little bit suspenseful in there. I haven't played it, but I've seen people play it. I just feel like that one fits the category well. I don't know if you feel that way on that.
Yeah, I think that if it's not my pick, again, this is the thing where like I agree with your pick. So I picked Hades. Okay. Again, Hades isn't a game that I've played.
Getting rave reviews though.
It's just a game where I just see it. I just see it over and over again. And whenever I think about action, I think about what I mentioned with, and by the way, we're not showing Hades. This is still Doom.
I'm switching.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, like, I wanted to be clear if anybody's watching the video. I didn't think that this was Doom. I was speaking to what I'm loving about Call of Duty right now, gameplay loop. And Hades is a roguelike, so there's already a gameplay loop built into the game. But if you're watching on screen right now, it feels satisfying even watching it. You can just see that there is something there, and that's why I definitely need to buy this game. I want to buy it before we talk about it, and before we talk about our favorite games in January. That way, I want to. This is a game that has automatically been like, "Hey, Owen, you need to give this a fair shake before you
Gotcha.
pick a GOTY, before you pick like a thing. You need to play some Hades." So that's why everything that I've seen, and then just everything that people tell me about this game, it feels like that's best action to me.
Yeah,
But
you feel like this could be it, and you're like, yeah,
and this is without playing either of them. I've seen Doom 2, and everything that I've heard about Doom was like it's more Doom 2016, and it's more Doom, like
yeah,
with the movement that they added from Doom Eternal that you didn't have in Doom 2016. What is it, that grappling hook and everything they add, just the
verticality
the
and flow. Yeah,
flow of the game of Eternal just says it to me. I wish that I could speak to things like Alex. We know Alex is going to win like best VR, and honestly, I'm surprised that Alex isn't on the Game of the Year conversation with how much I heard about it. It's just probably less than 1 million people played that game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I may have removed VR. I removed some on here because I didn't
Alex
feel
is
like
going to
we
win
had.
VR. You don't need that.
I feel like we didn't have a lot of input on like the best esports team and that bit. Like it's just not our thing, so we wouldn't be speaking to from any knowledge base. Yeah, either way, these are good picks. So I don't disagree with your picks on any of these so far. Best indie game, we have Carrion, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer. And I realize I didn't get my pick. I think I may take a second to see if I can add mine real quick. These are really good. Hades could win for this as well. It's valid. Um, I feel like the game that I would pick for this though is Fall Guys. I feel like Fall Guys and the impact of Fall Guys was so massive, so quick that I feel like I can't not pick Fall Guys for this category. Immediately it became like the thing for everybody to play, and it was free, and I loved it, and I played it, and I don't know if you feel that way, but it was just immediate. Like it clicked for everyone. The way the way everyone was playing Animal Crossing, everyone was playing Fall Guys.
Again,
And I
we're
mean
not
that
showing Fall Guys. This is Hades.
I'm going to. Sorry,
Okay. I'm not trying to push Patrick into transition. It's just if anybody actually is watching the video, that's clearly not Fall Guys.
Here's Fall Guys. Sorry, I didn't have it prepped. I thought I had it prepped. I was like, while I was talking, I was doing it. So Fall Guys, beautiful, colorful, insane.
This is another thing where you don't have to switch it back to Hades. I think that Hades is going to win it just because I think that because Hades, for those we're getting to it, Hades is nominated for Game of the Year, and I don't think Hades is going to win Game of the Year. And I think if Hades isn't going to win Game of the Year, they have to win Best Indie Game. It's just kind of what is. I'm coming at this from a very Academy approach, where it's like, okay, we can't give him Best Picture, but we can give him Best Director, right? Well, we can't give Hades Game of the Year, but we can give them Best Indie. So I think that. If Fall Guys is on Family Game, I think that there's definitely a chance there. Fall Guys definitely does deserve an award. Like everything about this year, man. Like that's another thing we need to do when we're talking about our favorite games for 2020. We should go through our just emotional wave of 2020 because there was the Animal Crossing wave, there's the Fall Guys thing, there was the Ghost of Tsushima section, there's the
Last of Us,
there's the new Jin, here's Miles Morales and everything else thing. Like there's just this wave that 2020 has been on of like everything that's been going on in the outside world pairing with your video game playing. Fall Guys definitely has its place in 2020 where it's like, remember Fall Guys? That's definitely going to happen. And so this keeps being a thing where it's like, I see why you're picking that thing, and there's definitely a case.
There's not a lot. There's a lot of great nominees in here. There are some that I'm like, I don't see why they're here, or like Streets of Rage 4. I get it, but no. So I agree. By the way, we should do that. That's right before New Year's, so it'll be the week after Christmas. I think would be a good time to do that.
I'm gone that week, so the week
Oh, okay.
I say like
First
first
week,
week of January.
first week of January. Sounds
Yeah,
good. Sounds good. So
I haven't
I may
talked to
do
you
a
about that. By the way, guys, I'm
surprise.
going on vacation right after Christmas.
Good for you. Good for you. We're going to be out for Christmas as well. So we'll have 2 weeks off. I'll do a solo show so that way you guys get a little bit of love, a little bit of news in the
Maybe
middle.
we can find some time to stream or something in there. Play like just
Yeah.
tune up the SNES Classic and hang out for an hour or something.
So let's go on. Best performance. Best performance for an actor, actress. Ashley Johnson as Ellie in Last of Us 2. Laura Bailey as Abby in Last of Us Part 2 as well. I can't pronounce his name, and I feel very bad. Daisuke. Do you know how to pronounce this name?
Uh,
Jen.
I'm gonna
Jen.
feel bad too. I might like Daisuke Suji Ashton Sake is how I would probably say it.
Yeah,
But again, I feel bad about that as well.
I feel bad. So Jen for Ghost of Tsushima, amazing performance by the way. Logan Cunningham as Hades, and then Najee Jeter as Miles Morales.
Great job.
So I haven't played Hades, but it's amazing that he was nominated on here because it's not a game that I would imagine. I'm not feeling like they would have that much emotional connection. So the fact that he's nominated on here, I really want to play Hades.
Yeah.
I feel like I would love for Najee Jeter to win for Miles. I liked his performance a lot.
It's great.
But I feel like Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey it's just such a deep performance out of both of them. Either one could win it. I don't know how to pick. I guess I was gonna say I'm just gonna go with Laura Bailey because I love Laura Bailey anyway. So
I'm with you that
amazing.
Najee Peter. I posted it on my own personal Facebook the other day, and most of the people who follow the show are friends with me on my personal Facebook. But if Insomniac and Sony do not make Miles Morales a part of Spider-Man 2 or do not give him a second game, they bombed because their Miles Morales is that good. Miles is awesome in terms of his gameplay, in terms of the actor, in terms of how that dude did being Spider-Man. He just did such an awesome job. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but Laura Bailey killed. Like, go look up Laura Bailey, go look up Abby, look up just those scenes that she did as Abby, and I don't understand how that lady does what she can with his voice. Ashley Johnson sounds like Ashley Johnson, and Ashley Johnson's great. She does a great Ellie. Everything that she's a part of, Ashley Johnson does a great job. But she sounds like Ashley Johnson, and that's not a diss. But what Laura Bailey can do with her voice, and it's insane to me how she can be so many different characters. She's in Spider-Man. She's Mary Jane in Spider-Man, and I can't tell that we were talking about it offline the other day, and I was like, I completely forgot she was in that game.
Yeah. She morphs into she's in a sense of a chameleon kind of actress. I wouldn't say method acting, but someone who just gets so absorbed into a role, somehow becomes that person, becomes that entity in her delivery. And I think that's why she's such a great voice actress. That's why she's picked for so many projects. That you forget that it's her. I think we mentioned this, or I mentioned this offline, but in Miles Morales, Troy Baker plays the villain, and immediately I was like, "Oh, it's Troy Baker." Okay. Other people were mad because they were like, "It's just so Troy Baker," which I didn't have a problem with that. He usually really morphs himself into a role. If I can identify an actor, that does not mean they're a bad actor or bad actress, right?
No.
Uh, E.G. Daily is a great voice actress who I can pick her out immediately. That doesn't mean she's a bad voice actress, but there's there's something to be said about someone like you said that just becomes that role that in that moment. Um, and the pairing of her voice with Abby's persona is perfect. I absolutely love it. And the reason that I say that is because the voices and the character models. So while they performed the character, the actual the skin, if you will, the motion capture is done by someone, and the character model is a different actor or actress, or it's modeled after different persons. So that's allowed for flexibility where Laura Bailey does not look anything like. She's way shorter than and couldn't physically perform as Abby, but she's able to do it in this case, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
I think we agree.
yeah, I think that, and it's not an easy pick. I just think that I think it's the pick. I just think it's hard to turn it down. When it comes to audio design, though, this isn't something that I'm as good at speaking to, so I picked the obvious choice here. So with audio design, there's Doom Eternal, there's Half-Life Alyx, which I can't speak to at all. I literally will never watch anything on that game. I have to get a VR
Yeah.
and play that game. I refuse to look
Yeah.
up anything about Half-Life Alyx. It's just a thing of I'm just promising myself that at some point I will get a VR unit so that I can play it.
Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and The Last of Us. I'm just going to say right now, I picked The Last of Us just because.
It's good. It's some really good sound design. I like Doom Eternal, but it's almost too much.
Okay.
In regards to sound design. I know that's kind of the point of Doom. It's like everything's just cranked to 11. Every single thing is cranked to 11. Where I feel like there's not as much nuance. Last of Us 2 is a good one. I would love to pick Resident Evil 3. I'd love to pick Resident Evil 3, and you know how hard this is for me not to, but I think it's Ghost of Tsushima on this. The subtlety, because you have the dynamics, if you will, right? The lows and highs are just so good, and the subtleties in the lows, to me, were just somehow emotionally just locked me. And you're right. Most people don't pick up on sound because sound just kind of exists. While it's a lot of your experience, it's almost how you feel it as opposed to what you're seeing. Emotionally kind of can pull your feeling, like John Williams music. I mean,
Yeah. But yeah, and whenever I thought about it, I thought about the things that got to other people, and again, I'll say that they didn't get to me. But there were people talking about the immersion of Last of Us Part 2, the things that you feel bad about whenever you're picking off groups of dudes, or not just dude. I call everybody dudes, by the way. This isn't a thing. I want to make that clear.
Yeah, that's a very northern thing. Dudes and guys,
use guys, y'all, dudes is just an all-encompassing thing for me. So I don't want anybody to take offense. Some people have before, but when you're killing dudes, you'll have the people that notice, and they'll call out, and you get that through your headphones, and you get it in a very surround sound way. That kind of thing stuck out to me whenever I was playing the game, and again, it didn't affect me the same way, but I respected what they were going for, type of thing.
Sure. I'm having to double check the cutoff for eligibility here, because
it's November.
Is it November 20th, I think?
Why, is there something missing from the Valhalla? Are you asking about, or?
Yeah, because Valhalla's on here. Because the next one is best music, and I feel like one should have been on here. And I say that because I'm a fanboy, but also the music is so good. Best score and music. So the nominees are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2.
So who should have been on here?
Demon Souls is not on here. And it doesn't say original, and as you see, Final Fantasy VII is on here, so they are new revisions. They took the score of Demon Souls and they redid the entire thing, but not just very much like Final Fantasy VII, where it's yeah, that's the song, but now we're going to expand this part. We're going to add a little bit to it. Um, I'm almost offended that it's not on here because the music is that good. It's that emotional. But that being said, I digress. Final Fantasy VII remake for me. It
It's one of those things you mentioned John Williams, and when you have somebody and I'm terrible at saying his name, so this is again just a thing that I
sure
should just go. But
we're bad, we're dumb Americans.
when you have Nobuo Uematsu
Mhm.
on the list, it's like a thing. Like, so you get your nomination, and you there's a good chance you get a win. This guy is a legend, and I understand that he's not like the biggest. Like there's other people that are on Final Fantasy VII Remake with him, but this everything about this game in terms of the audio, in terms of the music, and
Mhm.
like again, it was such respect, but they also evolved it,
Yeah.
and it was it. The music's perfect to me. You know, there's really good music in The Last of Us. It's well placed. I can't speak to Hades yet, but I will soon. And then we know Doom Eternal's got a banger going on. But
Mhm.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, dude, like it was
It,
that the music made it. I was in it.
it did it. I mean, obviously there's nostalgia. We know we're biased on this, but the feels that this game and the new even new encounters, old encounters, whatever it was, the music did it, and it was a variety of music. You have some great battle themes. You have some emotional love themes. It took me to every emotional place that it needed to take me, and that's what music is. Music needs to take you on that journey to get to pull your emotion in that way. And Final Fantasy VII totally did that.
And it,
It's so good.
and I know we started this list saying like these are our picks that we think. I'm still honestly thinking that Final Fantasy VII is going
I
to
still think
win.
so.
This is also again like if I was picking a best score music, this isn't
Sure.
how we're going to talk about it in January. We're going to go a lot more broad, just talking about like our
Sure.
favorite games and stuff like that. But maybe I think last year we did like a top 10 or something like that. And then we also did like best game we played that didn't come out this year type of thing. Like
Yeah.
me and Patrick will do that offline. But I honestly think this is going to win on top of the fact that it also just got me.
Yeah. I'm also going to post some polls. Speaking of that, I want to post some polls to get your feedback, to get you, the fans, get your feedback on Facebook because we are stream on Facebook every Wednesday. We switch to Wednesdays. Facebook.com/TheLanCave. Post it there. And get your feedback. We'll also post them on Twitter. Get your feedback on here because we want to talk about your experience as well. We all went through and are going through 2020 together. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to cope. We're going to have a little therapy about it. It's going to be good. Um, Next up, art direction. Um, this one's another hard one, but Final Fantasy VII remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part Two. I'll let you go first on this one. I know who I think is going to win this.
Whenever I think about art direction, I just think of like beauty. And beauty means a lot of things to a lot of people, but I think that Ghost of Tsushima, I really think captured art direction in that way. And again, this is a game I haven't played yet. I want to be perfectly clear. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. It's on my PS5 loaded up. I'm ready to play that 60 frame action. But when I think about what Sucker Punch did, I think that people are going to respect that. Because the game is just beautiful. Even on PS4 and PS4 Pro, the game was beautiful, and it's even more beautiful on PS5. And I know that that's not everything that goes into art direction, but I just think, in a simplistic term,
Sure.
beauty is the thing. And there's heavy hitters on here. Final Fantasy VII has its moments. The Last of Us has its moments, but like Ghost of Tsushima is like the prettiest game I've seen all year.
What speaking of that and a slightly off topic, but the update, do you know if the update on Ghost, does it have to be on your hard drive? I don't know if you even know that. Like cuz I've got mine on my solid state. I didn't know if it needed to be. I can Google it.
As I understand, I don't know if it has to be, but as I understand it, the PlayStation should just
Should
runs
just
it automatically.
recognize it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just run, and it's not even an update. It's just that it runs it in what's like, it's like turbo
On
mode or something
yeah,
like that. It's just deciding that
beast mode.
it's because the frame rate is uncapped.
Yes, that's what. Yeah,
Or
that's the
it's
big part.
uncapped up to 60, so the game automatically scales up to 60. So theoretically, it should run fine
Okay,
out there
cool. So
externally.
I'll test that out. I want to play it anyways, but I want to go back into it. I don't disagree that in Ghost of Tsushima, I think Ori and the Will of the Wisps
Okay.
is a very very big contender for this. Could possibly take it in regards to the creativity and again beauty in regards to art. Um, uh, Taking you on a journey, making you care about a character, and letting the art style take you to it. This is a game, by the way. I've heard so many people who, when they say, "What's the prettiest game? What's the best game to play on your Xbox Series X?" Ori. So many people are saying like Ori will play at 4K 120 if your TV can do it. It's beautiful, as you can see here. I know we're doing in 1080, but it's a gorgeous game. HDR 4K 120. That's amazing for a game you don't think about being in that type of resolution and frame rate. So I'm going to go that I'm going to give it to
Okay.
Ori, and it's good stuff.
I think if there's a category that Ori can win, I think that
Yeah.
you can make a case for that.
I think so. Last three as we wrap up. I think we may have to we go through these a little bit quick. Go through these next two maybe a little bit quicker. I don't know how you feel about it. If you got a crunch, best narrative, 13 Sentinels. Sorry, 13
Got this
Sentinels.
loaded up on my PS5, bought it for half off over Black Friday. I'm going to dig into it before we get to January.
I was going to say, like, I hope so. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. I feel like, and I know we didn't even bring it up here, but any controversies aside that people have and their feelings about it, The Last of Us Part 2, I feel the narrative on this is just so good. The story is so good. Whether you like the direction that it took you on. It made and I would say I was about to say
Took
it
you
made
for
you
a
care about
ride.
those characters for a ride, and it's these characters' journey. Even if you didn't like it, it's what they were going through, and it yeah, extremely emotional. I feel like I feel like it's a perfect fit for this. As much as I loved Final Fantasy VII, I've not been Ghost of Tsushima, but Ghost of Tsushima also takes you on a big, very emotional journey as your character. I forgot his name, but good stuff. But I
Jin.
feel like Jin, easy to remember. Why did what? Yeah, I think Last of Us Part 2, Naughty Dog again. Just telling a story and making care about the characters, and this is why single player games are not dead, is because of developers and studios like Naughty Dog.
To be perfectly clear, I hate the direction they took one of the characters in The Last of Us. There's no
Sure,
spoilers here. I hate
sure.
it. Hate it. Can't stand it. I don't like it. I don't think that they made a good decision. It doesn't matter. They told a story and they told it extremely well.
100%.
And I think that the critics are going to just unanimously agree. It's really hard to like I would say if a story makes you hate something that they did to a character, like that's not necessarily something they're doing wrong,
Sure.
but if they make you care that much about what they did to it, I
Yeah.
think that says something, sometimes to the writing, some for better or for worse, but in this
Yeah.
case for better. They I don't like it, but I know what they did with it, and I just think that the critics are going to absolutely agree. I've heard a lot of good things about 13 Sentinels, which is why I bought it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dig into it. Again, 7 Remake. There's a lot to respect there. Hades, which is crazy for a roguelike, but I've heard that Hades has a great narrative that, again, I need to buy that before we get to it. There's so much to do, Patrick. What do we
I
do?
know. There's so much to
I'm
do
gonna have to
before.
take my Switch on vacation.
That's
Maybe that's when I
exactly
play
right.
Hades.
That's
Is
exactly
maybe
right.
like in bed while the kid's asleep, like talking to parent, like play a little Hades at night.
I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna be in
All
Texas,
right.
so I think I'm gonna bring my Switch there. I was thinking like, should I bring my PlayStation? Should I
Nah,
bring? And I'm like, no.
that's a Switch. That's a
It's a
Switch kind of
Switch.
journey.
It's a Switch journey, and I was like, you know what? Worst case, I could try to remote play, but I'm like, you know what? Switch is fine. I'm there to visit. and I do already have to do some work while I'm there anyway. So no, it's a Switch thing. I'm gonna actually visit and enjoy some family while I'm there.
So I'm gonna pick up Hades. I'll play that. That's probably gonna be one of the last games I play for the year.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm hoping to dig into 13 Senate, but I don't think that there's a way that Last of Us loses this. If Last of Us loses best narrative, I'll be extremely surprised.
This is its category.
Yeah.
We're talking about game of the year in a minute, but this is narrative. This is Last of Us 2's category. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Best game direction: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and Last of Us Part 2. This one could go a few different ways. And I think there are 3, maybe 4, because I haven't played Half-Life Alyx. There may be 3, maybe 4 like picks that are like, okay, that's fine. Like that are objectively good, and I don't think we would argue about. My heart says Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
That's what my heart says. But I am going to say Ghost of Tsushima on this one. But Last of Us Part 2 is great as well. This is just where my heart is in regards to the game direction. Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to assume
my heart's with Final Fantasy VII too, because this is a no more comeback for me. I'll tell you to any of your faces, Kingdom Hearts 3 sucks.
Yeah.
That game is awful. It's not good. There's nothing redeemable about that game. I don't care. I don't care about the reviews. That game sucks. And I don't have a problem saying it. So to me, 7 Remake is a no more redemption. Even though he went Kingdom Hearts on it, it fit. It fit. It worked.
And it's easier to explain than any Kingdom Hearts plot.
Yeah, it worked. But that said, I haven't played and I haven't looked it up. I'm basing this completely off of what I know of the game. Mm-hmm. I think if there's a category for Half-Life Alyx to win outside of Best VR, which is a lock, I think that this game's a 10.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes that I know, they're like, I don't know anybody that rated this game below a 9, and I know that The Last of Us is kind of in there too, and Ghost is in the 80s region. But in terms of just direction and stuff, I feel like to get that kind of rating on a VR game, you have to be doing something right. So completely blind, Half-Life Alyx.
I definitely need to play this game. I know we're technically seeing some showing a little bit here. It's technically a trailer.
It's cool.
All right, well, I'll let you know when I transition, or you'll see the flashes. I feel like I need to play this. I mean, I love Half-Life, but I feel like this gets a little bit even more into the feeling of I don't know. I was never scared playing Half-Life 2. Whitney actually played that back in college, and like the head crabs like freaked her out. And I feel like,
as they should,
I feel like this would be like, oh, I'm going to get that feeling like it's actually coming at me. It's actually on me. So I could totally see that. Not bad. So on to game of the year.
Not our game of the year.
Not our game of the year, but their game of the year, the people's game of the year, or at least the people who voted.
Critics' game of the year.
And people get to vote.
By the way, have you been voting?
I did. Okay. What is it? 40%? Not. I can't remember the.
We're not weighted that high, but I'm waiting for the final round, which I don't know if that happened.
Yeah. So game of the year is the nominees are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. And there's really good games on here, and I feel like some of these games may be your game of the year. They may be my game of the year. They may be your game of the year. We
got a couple weeks, but my game of the year is on this list so far.
I've been on a lot of journey in 2020. I don't think it'll be Doom Eternal. I liked Doom Eternal, and I love Doom Eternal.
It's just forgotten in a way. And whenever I'm thinking about picks, by the way, people, I'm thinking about like that's where I picked Miles as a recency bias thing. Yes. There's just like staying power in somebody's brain, right? And as good as Doom Eternal was, I think it came out in the wrong year. I think it came out right at the start of a pandemic, and just that's not a game that I want. I'm not even going to play it this year. I'm
Yeah,
so like I like Doom well enough, but
it's
I'm
yeah,
not touching it this year because it's just not a headspace that I want to be in. And I think I think there's a lot of people like that, and that's the reason where I don't even think it has a chance.
sure. I think we can narrow this down to Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, and Final Fantasy 7 is my feeling.
I would say, honestly, I think it's between Animal Crossing and Last of Us Part 2.
So Animal Crossing was the one that I was going to say that's the wild card. I was going to say that was the wild card where I'm like, do we give it to does it go to Animal Crossing for what it meant to the year?
All the respect in the world of Hades, by the way.
Yeah,
it's on this list.
100%.
And we'll let you know in a couple weeks.
I think you're right. Now that you said it, I think you're right. Animal Crossing and The Last of Us Part 2 are so impactful for this year. And there are so many years where you if you said that, it was cliche. But in 2020, and I know saying that in 2020 is cliche, Animal Crossing and The Last of Us have such huge impacts on the year. It's not just the game; it's the culture, it's the zeitgeist. We went through something together as a planet, and I agree with you. The question is, will people riot if Animal Crossing wins?
People are always going to riot. I mean, honestly,
I don't mean really riot, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
no, honestly, I mean, there's a lot of people like, I said that I hated the direction that The Last of Us 2 went, and I hate it in a respect way. I just don't like their choice, but I respect their choice because it's their choice, it's their product. There's a lot of people that don't feel that way. There's a lot of people that hate the choice and also, as a result, hate the product. I feel like if Last of Us wins, that there's going to be plenty of rage there too. There's a lot of people that think that they destroyed you can't destroy your own product, folks. It's like you want to get mad at Lucas about the prequel trilogy. It's his trilogy. Yeah. It's what he wanted to do. Yeah. Whenever people talk, I've been on a really ranty thing about Mandalorian, how nobody can compliment Mandalorian without bashing Star Wars.
By the way, we did talk Star Wars. We're going to find a way to fit Mandalorian stuff in as well.
This season's almost over. We'll talk about that probably at the end of the season, just to kind of a thing that we do. But I've hated how you can't compliment the Mandalorian without being like, this is the best thing since the prequels. This is the best thing. Like, just say you like it. It's fine. Yeah. The Last of Us Part 2 is going to win, and you're going to have to accept it.
I was going to say, like, I don't think you're wrong at all. I think it should win. Ghost of Tsushima was actually the one that I was thinking about as a possibility. It
won the fans' choice or whatever. Did you see that? It made it through all 3 rounds and won the player's choice.
It is a really good game. I think it's a question of is it going to get? I don't know. Like, I feel like it should be. I think I'm going to go with Game of the Year as well for this. Objectively speaking, it is so.
Everything that they did.
It's remarkable.
Accessibility, narrative, gameplay, and you talk about it. There's a lot of people that think that the gameplay in Last of Us 1 is not great, and it's really not. It's the narrative that makes up Last of Us Part 1. But if you play through the action of Last of Us Part 2 and you try and tell me it's bad, you're a liar. Like, you should see what you're capable of in the switches and the weapons and like how you can set up a combat scenario in Last of Us Part 2. Like, everything about that game is well done, whether you agree with the direction that the game took. It doesn't matter.
Thank you for watching this episode of The LanCave. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. Right down, I think it's around there. Please subscribe. Watch us on Facebook every Thursday live. We'd love to see people in the comments chatting with us. You guys are just as enthusiastic about gaming as we are. Be part of the culture. Be part of the conversation.
And again, it's not my game of the year. I'll say that right now.
I think, and I'm not going to say that this is an entitlement thing at all, but because you could say that, but I almost feel there's also a difference where if you're playing an RPG, a true RPG, I'm telling my story. This is my journey through this world as this character, which is why technically Legend of Zelda games are more of an action adventure game than an RPG, because you don't have stats. You're not picking like a Skyrim, right? In playing The Last of Us Part 2, and I know that's a debate, but like in playing Last of Us Part 2, you are on these characters' journeys. You're reading a book. If you don't like the direction, you don't like what a character did, that's what the character did, right? You make a mistake in life, or you make you rage, you do something that's out of character. Mistakes happen, rage, things happen. We take choices in our lives, and that was that character's choice. It may not be how you felt, and that's how I feel about a lot of those. What was it? Kevin and a few other people were talking about they didn't like some of the things in Star Wars: Jedi Fallen Order. They didn't like some of the, like, oh, you're asked to do this, and I'm like, and they were like, well, I don't want to do that. It doesn't matter. Like, that's what's happening. You're along for this ride.
Yeah.
If it's not what you would do, then that's not how you play those games. Play an RPG where you get to make those choices.
I mean, in RPGs, you don't get to make those choices. You literally
most
games you don't get to make those choices.
Well, you get a choice of like, hey, do you want to kill these people or do you not want to kill these people? And you're like, I don't want to. One of the only games that I feel like does that really, really well is, and I know we're about to end the show, but like one of the games that does it very, very well is Fallout New Vegas. You can
do whatever you want in that game.
Do whatever you want, but you can also beat the entire game without killing anyone or anything. If I'm not mistaken, I know you can do it without killing any humans. So you can literally talk your way out of situations or run away. So you can play that game without killing anybody. That's amazing, because usually it's like, oh, well, you got in this situation, so story-wise, you got to shoot him in the head.
That's what I hate about Uncharted 4.
Yeah. There's situations where I'm like, I shouldn't have to.
Yeah, I should just be able to sneak away because I'm whatever, or I should be able to talk to this. Like, those games are really respectable, but that's not every game. You play a narrative. Like, if you're playing a Star Wars game and you expect to have like a lot of choice, I'm sorry. And Mandalorian's awesome, and so is the rest of the Star Wars universe. So good. Enjoy Star Wars. I hope you guys enjoyed this show, the pre-show to the Game Year. The Game Awards. Game Awards is tomorrow if you're watching live. It's today if you're watching when this episode comes out on YouTube. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We're live every Wednesday talking about gaming and gaming news. Be part of the conversation with us. Like us on Facebook so we can put out some polls and stuff and talk about what you are experiencing throughout 2020 and what you're looking forward to in 2021. And we'll see you next time.